Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your co host, Josh, along with my co host, Ethan and Ryan. And here we're going to recap week 6 going on to week 7. We have a lot to talk about. There's been a lot of injuries, there's been a lot of news that has transpired. Oh, and the NFL trade deadline coming up in about 2 weeks. But first off, gentlemen, how are y'all doing today?
I'm no longer winless.
Congrats. You did it.
Yes.
Yeah,
You did it.
good job.
The Church of ETN, we
Lives
uh we
on.
rose up on Sunday and the person I beat was really salty about it.
Trust me,
Good.
I
Good.
was so happy. I was like, finally, he
I
gets the
was
win.
so fired up. I was so fired. It should have been last week, but
Yeah.
Tyler sucks. And then he got demolished this week, which nothing makes me happier than seeing Tyler lose. Like that is
Well,
just
yeah, it was,
the pleasure I find in
he
life.
just he trusts Fields too much, like I did last week.
Yeah, he lays
So
in
Yeah.
Justin Fields' bed and does whatever he wants, and
No,
it's
it's not.
gross
It's
and
not even
graphic. I
just
won't describe
Fields.
it further.
It everything is so reliant on the Raiders, the Bears, and the Packers.
Because who else do you want to rely on?
yeah,
Yeah,
for real.
three great teams
Give
apparently.
give me the what is that? The NFC North? Give me the NFC North, but the worst teams.
Yeah, the NFC North, but then get Patriots West.
Yeah,
Yep.
but not the
Ye-
West that the Patriots are in. The actual Patriots.
Yeah, really. Yeah, you're man. That has just been a disaster, for lack
It's
of a
it's been a
better
good time.
word. I mean, we'll include Thursday night. We are recording this post Thursday night football. So Jaguars and Saints have just transpired. So
Yeah,
what's y'all's
the NFC
takeaway?
South. The NFC South is still open for business.
No, ETN, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the other thing is
ETN is
it,
the real
he's a
deal.
he's a bad man.
Yeah. I mean,
ETN is a
he's had
yeah
at least two touchdowns in like the
three
Last two.
last
weeks.
3 games.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
will
I think
double
it's
check
last
that.
3 games. It's crazy, man.
I will check that. ETN has had the
Against Buffalo.
last yeah
Yeah, he
since
did
Buffalo
against
two
Buffalo.
Yeah.
touchdowns, Colts 2 touchdowns, New Orleans 2 touchdowns.
I think he likes
It's like
that London air.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
think it
he
just
he
got him
really
going.
does.
Like Jags last year were a rhythm team, and I think that Buffalo game just got it flowing for him
Yeah,
offensively.
I
I
will
agree.
say, I mean, this is going to be my takeaway is just ETN going off as he is right now is the worst thing to happen to Trevor Lawrence when it comes to a fantasy output. Now, as far
Yeah,
as real football goes around, this is the best thing to happen to Jacksonville because now
Yeah,
they have a multitude of ways to win. I was saying, as far as fantasy goes, like the Jacksonville might actually have the too many options issue because you have Ridley, you have Christian Kirk, and then you have Zay Jones. So solid three receiver trio
and Evan
plus
Ingram.
plus Evan Ingram. But then you can also run the ball with ETN. Tank Bigsby still getting in there, but obviously the our main
Relief.
yeah our main entree here is Travis Etienne.
Well, yeah,
And
because I think they were looking for their identity as a team, and they were struggling early on in the season. And then they go in and play Buffalo, and it's like, oh wait, Travis Etienne's really good. He can just win us football games if we get the ball in his hands, and then spread it out amongst the rest of the team as need be. And I mean, it's working so far.
yeah,
it is.
definitely working. It's interesting that I mean it's kind of related to my big question, but I would say the offense is working as intended, and the fact that they're able to run the ball is only going to help them in January.
Well, speaking of big questions,
You want to just jump right into
Yeah.
mine then?
kick it off.
Alrighty, so we're gonna jump into our big questions really early here, which I guess if you want to go over dream lineups, Ryan takes the victory this week. He had Thielen and Mostert enough said, combining for
Yep.
70 points. Good night. But
Half of it,
here's my
optimistic.
big thing, and I mean I was starting to see a lot of reports coming out of it. I don't know if anyone has like the true answer yet, but there has been a noticeable downward trend when it comes to offensive scoring this year. And so I kind of want to give it up to you guys. This is kind of not just fantasy football. This is also just football in general. Why are the offenses struggling this year?
Man, honestly, it might be an up in defensive play, maybe a little more lean to the running game. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know why. It just seems like they're struggling for some
I
reason.
no, I do agree with that. I think yes, defenses have kind of upped their play, but we've seen more running this year. I feel like games are just going by faster than what they have.
I think that's definitely part of it.
And I also think injuries, like I don't know that we saw this many injuries this early on in the season last year. So it's like a lot of dudes have been out or been limited or been, in and
Yeah.
out of games. And
I,
I
I
think it's
would I
a
would
thing.
even argue this many quarterback injuries too.
Yeah.
I mean, Fields being hurt.
We're also in a QB like transition
Anthony
phase
Richardson.
now.
Yep, Anthony Richardson's the big one.
Well, we're transitioning from like the old elite QBs into like more of like a younger generation of QBs. So I also think offenses are still trying to find themselves with these new dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been kind of ruminating on this question for quite a bit. I have two answers right now. One, I think part of me thinks defenses have taken the philosophy of I'm going to get penalized anyway, so I'm just going to go full force and make people think twice. So I think that's part of the case. And like I've noticed, I mean, the Jets, I would say the Jets and Cowboys specifically, and then you can make an argument for the Ravens, for Philly, for a few other teams where the play speed on the defensive side of the ball just feels like another level this year. Like the Jets, when you have Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, all those guys, just it's suffocating. Like I would even argue Cowboys and Jets are on like a 2000 Ravens, 2013 Seattle, 2016 Denver kind of pace.
Hmm.
My
Dang.
technical answer that I want to bring up though is that I do think the issue with a lot of offenses, I do think there's some issues with interior O line play. And
Yeah.
the reason why I'll bring it up is this: I've noticed it in a few games last week. So everyone's obviously afraid of your Miles Garrett, your Joey Bosa, your Nick Bosa, and a lot of your edge rushers, right? So a lot of the quarterbacks, I feel like as if why shotgun got very popular is because they don't need to do the extra 5 step drop, and so they can kind of just stand there, take a couple steps. By doing that, the edge rushers actually they actually are going around the quarterback. So the tackles are just pushing them down that way. So they're doing their pass set and then they're just kind of letting your their the edge rusher just go way past the quarterback. The only way for that to happen, as far as how that can work, is if your interior O line play is really, really good. Who are some of the best guards in the game right now?
Chris Lindstrom.
Lindstrom is one.
I don't know.
I mean,
Zach
we could that's like I mean Lindstrom, Zach Martin, Quentin Nelson, um,
Ryan
Tyron
doesn't
Smith.
none of them are on the Vikings.
Hmm? Yeah, none
Huh?
of them are Vikings.
Yeah,
Our
none of them are
interior O
Vikings.
line isn't great.
I mean, Jonah Jackson's also done like a really good job this year. But I think you even saw it with the Thursday night game. The interior O line play may be the most important because the only way to force the quarterback to keep going backward to get in the end that path of the edge rushers is if your interior pressure is really good. So who are some of the players that we've seen do like really good as far as interior? Aaron Donald, for example, Dexter Lawrence, Quinnen Williams, Micah Parsons whenever he's lined up inside. Um, and even your Calais Campbell's, Grady Jarrett's, even on top of that.
Onyemata
So
has been too.
who has?
Onyemata.
Oh yeah, Onyemata is
Yeah, their BT.
yep, a great example.
It's been mostly Onyemata, not Grady Jarrett.
Yeah, I mean Grady Jarrett's on the older side of things for sure.
Well, I mean, he's still been good, but Onyemata's been a beast.
But yeah, but the thing I don't know. The thing that I've noticed and I just kind of want to bring up is I think we may need to focus on as far as teams are running the ball and passing the ball. That interior O line play has to be rock solid. And if there's
Yeah,
any injuries to guards, then I am going to start paying attention to going, hey, I don't think your skill player is going to be any good if the interior O line is hurt. And
Yeah.
so that I think that's just kind of been my takeaway the last 6, 7 weeks, and I think it's how it's going to be for going on for the rest of the year.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's an interesting take on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's contributing and fantasy
Yeah,
points few and far between, and it's been a weird year.
It certainly has.
But Ryan,
for real.
what are you questioning?
All right, my big question. Rank the three top rookie QBs by their performance in the first couple of weeks of the season. So we're not quite at the halfway mark, but rank them from week 1 till now.
All right, this is going to sound awful. I'll start this off. It's
And
number
I got to say, injuries aside. So if
injuries
they were out for
aside.
like 2 or 3 games, like how do they look
I mean,
when they are
number
on the field playing,
I
like by
would
their
Stroud.
performance?
Stroud is one.
Stroud is one.
Anthony Richardson is two.
Anthony
Bryce Young is
Richardson.
three.
Bryce Young is three.
Really?
Yes.
See, okay. See, I would say, yeah, I'd say Bryce Young. I'd say Bryce Young. So yeah, let's do
Like
those three.
Bryce Young has been
I agree
good.
with
He's
that.
just on such a bad Carolina team.
Yeah,
I think it's that, but plus like his adjustment to the game is there's a lot more things going on when it comes to pre-snap and things are flowing really faster. I think Bryce Young's very much kind of like Tua, where anticipation is going to be key. And the only way you're going to be able to fully understand like anticipation of the NFL game is you're just going to have to go through it. So that's why I think he struggled the
yeah,
most. Anthony Richardson was really what benefited him a lot was the QB run game. Now the problem is that that's the reason why he's out for the season right now. So something is going to have to get done, but you can't help but be encouraged by what you saw, and you have JT locked up, and most likely, based on how Michael Pittman's been playing, he's going to get locked up. So now you have that core for at least the length of the rookie contract for Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Now the
So as
for
it
E.
stands right now, stats wise, CJ is currently, and this is of everyone, QB 12.
Yep,
And then
QB 12.
yeah.
you have, I mean, I would still count like Sam Howell and Dez as rookies too,
You know what?
which
I
Sam,
think we should
See,
add.
I was thinking about Sam Howell as being
he's right
over.
behind CJ. He's QB 13.
Yeah,
And
see, I oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was just saying he looked
Oh,
good.
see, the reason why I put this in, I realized that, or put this question in, I realized that Sam Howell isn't technically a rookie, but he never really saw any play
So, do you
last
want to
year.
expand it to first year starters?
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
potentially.
If that
I'd say first year starters.
if that's the case, I still think it's
CJ,
Stroud, Anthony Richardson
but
at
then
one and
I'd go
two.
Sam Howell.
I
Yeah.
go
See, I would go Sam Howell.
Sam
And then I
Howell.
would go, um, oh, that's a good. I'd
Ooh,
go
see,
Ritter after that. So here's the thing
Yeah,
about
I'd say Ritter.
you want to hear something interesting about Ritter?
yeah.
People are saying he's had average QB play. You want to know how many times he was sacked in the first 4 weeks of the NFL?
I don't even want to know.
16 times.
Yeah, that's rough.
So
See,
now
all right.
he's on his interception kick. But this is what I've been saying. When against Houston, when they gave him a good game plan and protected him, he showed up and balled. So
Yeah,
they need to get on the same page of rhythm between Dez and Art because they keep doing this weird stuff and it throws Ritter off. So like against Washington, it was the bootleg because you can't throw things at Washington's front seven and have him be like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna let Des Ritter." Like, no, they're gonna come after the guy, and they were so in his face and up in his business. It just was not working. So they need to find that right rhythm for him to be comfortable and protected and allowing him to, get going and get into games.
I think it's just being like stuck on that. Yeah, you want to make that a coach issue, but that's also where it's like I don't know. I think expected a little more from Ritter to where I would even put Bryce Young over Ritter. Like I've been contemplating that largely because I do think Bryce Young is doing I would say average expected to what we were expecting. Obviously, you trade your number one receiver to get the number one pick to get Bryce Young, and then there's no really offensive
He's only,
talent there.
he's only thrown for 900 yards.
You have to remember Bryce Young's been hurt. He was hurt for 2 games. So I
I mean,
pers I don't know. I personally think I've expected more from Ritter, which is why I would put him at in last.
I
Though I'm
expected
happy to see
oh,
he's finally like done well like the
Well,
last
yeah, he's
few
finally
weeks. But
been
then
doing things.
yeah, but the issue with that offense is just if they can't expect you to do the most basic of things, to me that is a little lower than someone who for a quarterback who they're expecting to do a lot. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how I have been interpreting it. It's by no mean a kind of a slander on any of them. It's just how the offenses are designed.
I mean, how I see it, I expected way more from Bryce Young than what he's done. Like he's been very bad with his reads. He's been very bad with his decision making. Like he has a lot
His
to
internal clock has been kind of messed up because
yeah.
that O line has not held up at all. Plus, there's been a
Well,
revolving door at running back on top of that. The things that are
Ritter,
yeah.
needed to help
mhm.
to help Bryce Young have just not been there. Besides Adam Thielen, which might go down as the greatest second round draft pick in our dynasty league ever. Ironically enough.
And I got so much ridicule for it.
Oh,
You
Oh,
guys
from
I
me
ragged on me,
specifically.
no, I
and
told you,
I
man.
was,
Because I told you I was going to draft him if you didn't.
I
yeah. See,
ridiculed you too.
yeah, yeah. I remember that
Because I said
because when I
that's gonna be
drafted
Bryce
him,
Young's
I
number
was
one
like,
target. That's the
yeah,
first thing.
he's exactly. He's gonna be his safety blanket, pretty much. He's gonna be the guy that he throws to because I mean, Adam Thielen is so sure-handed. So
Yeah, and
Well, kind of
I
go ahead.
also
so Dez is a little bit behind where I was hoping he would be, but he's still there. And my thing with him is everyone rags on him because, well, one, he's a new QB, but two, like he gets put so far behind mentally in the game. Like when the first half of football, he basically just gets sacked the entire time and can't complete a pass because he's got pressure in his face or he's getting hit or just the play's getting blown up. And then it's like, all right, go out in the second half and just pull out a miracle. Like I know it's the NFL, but this is a new QB and you're thrashing him and then being like, all right, now that you're thoroughly concussed, go ahead and win me a football game.
I think just the other thing is I'm just looking through the games where he's kind of struggled in, like attempts 18, 32, 38, 31. I think it's very much well known. It's like you can't just do this like the old school Russell Wilson where you're going to be able to run on everybody and
Mhm.
then ask your QB to make like 3 to 4 high level throws a game. Obviously not the case because I think defenses have gotten way smarter about it. However, I think the reason why I wanted to bring up the Desmond Ritter Bryce Young comparison is because I do think the supporting cast around Atlanta is way better than Carolina to the point where that's where I've been disappointed in. Like Drake London
I,
top.
I wouldn't even say that. I mean, the only thing they have over Carolina would be Drake London. Atlanta's supporting cast still isn't that good.
Okay, so
And
we have
Bijan.
so Kyle Pitts, Drake London. That's a good 1-2 combo.
Kyle Pitts is still injured though.
But I mean, he's been scoring.
Somewhat. I mean, he's
But then,
playing.
Have you not
but
seen him
then,
out there looking like a gimpy old
yeah,
man?
he
Because
has
every
been
other team man
been
Yeah.
gimpy. But then,
It,
but let's take out Kyle Pitts. There's still Matt Collins, who's been a more than serviceable number 2, number 3 receiver. Then you have Jonnu Smith, who has shown to be a productive tight end. And then on top of that, you add Bijan and Algier. Compared to Carolina, yes, they have Mingo, yes, they have Chark, yes, they have Thielen, but it's really just been Thielen. Terrace Marshall has just requested a trade. Miles Sanders has been hurt, and we haven't even gone to O-line. Atlanta's O-line's way better than Carolina's. That I think that's my issue is that you can make I can make the argument that there are some Arthur Smith issues, but I do think a lot of the issues also square falling on Desmond Ritter. And at this point, I mean, I like what they've changed. They've changed it up to where he's throwing the ball more, but I also do expect play to be better because now Desmond Ritter's getting the reps.
Yeah, I think it's just that game plan. That game plan of helping him be successful for the entire game, not half of it. Like once they get that, they'll be in the right spot. And they're where they want to be, where their identity is passing a little bit more than running the ball, but they got to get it. So,
Can I add one more player? Technically not he's a first year starting QB.
No.
But he's not a rookie. He's not a second year. No, I am not talking about Purdy, but it is someone in the NFC North. Where are we ranking Jordan Love?
Last.
You're blocked. No, just kidding. I think you can make an argument he's third. Maybe
I don't think
second.
he's been.
I'd say fourth. I still think I think Howell has the edge over him.
That's for sure.
I mean, right now, I think Howell has the edge over him because he doesn't have. I mean, yeah,
he run the ball. He hasn't been passing
exactly.
I mean, the passing has been rough. Like Las Vegas,
he's played worse than Ritter.
But I also think Howell hasn't been that impressive either.
Howell hasn't impressed me more than Jordan Love and Bryce Young.
I'm thinking.
Because Jordan Love is QB 28, Bryce Young is QB 29, and they've played like it.
Where's Love at? That's what I want to know.
QB 28.
Oh, 28. I see. So, I mean, there is a bye week in there, obviously, but I mean, he definitely has not looked good. I mean, his last game was yikes against Las Vegas.
Raiders was bad.
I mean, really.
And then it was really against everybody else.
But besides that, I mean, 23 versus Chicago, 20 with Atlanta, 27 with New Orleans, 20 with Detroit. Like,
yeah, but they've all been like, Yeah, his fantasy numbers were there, but his performance has been,
Well, and as you can see, progressively over the last 3 weeks, his passing game has gotten worse. And that's kind of concerning.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they can lean on their rushers anymore.
Or he's 15, sorry. He's QB 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, personally, I mean, I think I would put Jordan Love at 3. The thing that Sam Howell, like, he may not have the turnovers, but the issue is I don't know what's up the offense. Like Jahan Dotson has just been where he been? Where Curtis Samuel's kind of taken more of that wide receiver 2 load. There's still Terry, there's Brian Robinson. That group of skill players is probably top half of the league at least. And then there's moments where it's the Chicago game where it's just like, what are you guys doing? And then you're just throwing the ball to throw yourself back in, and then the numbers look good. So that's been my issue where I think Jordan Love's looked a little more cohesive, but I will agree it's a little bit closer than I initially imagined. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's still Stroud and Richardson are 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think Richardson next year is going to be a beast, and I'm excited to watch him.
As long as he doesn't get
to round it out, our top 5.
Okay, that's all right.
All right, so we'll change it to top
Stroud?
5.
Yeah, so Stroud.
Top 5
on Stroud.
Richardson.
Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
Sam Howell.
Howell, but
Howell,
Love,
Ritter.
and Ritter. Okay.
Right.
All
I
right.
yeah,
I think that's acceptable. I honestly, I would agree with that. So, yeah. So,
All right, big
Ethan,
question. Big
yeah,
question.
Ethan, what's your big
yeah.
Q?
I like to stay relevant with what's happening week over week, and a lot of it's been the same guy, which is why we keep talking about the same guy. But specifically for this week, I think this is a very big question. Um, Zach Moss or JT? And after that, I have a
Oh
sub
my.
question of is this where we finally see it from Gibbs? So, but let's look at the Colts first. Zach Moss versus JT.
Dude, what's hilarious is that preseason you asked this question and then you're like, it's still JT. But how Zach Moss has been playing has just been on fire. Like he's just been nothing but fantastic. Oh man, that's tough.
Running back 5.
Yeah, running back 5 on the year.
Yeah, yeah.
Been
I
I
mean,
averaging a
he's
little
been
over 40.
very productive. He's been absolutely productive when JT was out.
well
But
he's yeah.
since I mean, JT's been back for 2 weeks now, and progressively, it's gotten better and better for him. So I think they're going to roll him off that snap count, and JT will take over.
I mean,
Yes, Zach
So
Moss has
last
looked
week
good.
he's at 50% snap
yeah,
percentage.
last week is
Yeah,
the big one I would say because of that snap percentage. So 7 carries for 21 yards, not great, but he gets a touchdown. But then 7 targets, 6 catches for 38. So that also
That's
helps.
what saved him.
yeah.
Yeah, I
But
mean the
also,
touchdown.
JT got 6 targets and 5 receptions.
So it
So
just I
this
think
may
it
be an offense where they utilize both of them.
I think it's a timeshare. I really
Yeah.
believe it's going to be a timeshare.
Yeah, welcome to
However,
the Bahamas for
what?
your new timeshare in the Bahamas. The
Yeah,
Indianapolis Colts.
No, it's timeshare in Indianapolis.
Ah, yes, your timeshare in Indianapolis, of course.
yeah. I
Where
think
everyone wants to be, Gary, Indiana.
here's how I'm feeling right now. I think JT is going to get a lot more of the goal line work eventually, and that's going to put him over Zach Moss. However, we all thought Zach Moss would be irrelevant, and because of the injuries that have happened, Kyron
Well, I mean,
Williams,
we
Monty, A
didn't know.
Chain, or A Chan,
He was the last man
Hey,
standing.
Chan.
We didn't
yeah,
know because it was supposed to be Dion, and
that's
then
true.
Dion got hurt, and then their other
Got
running
hurt.
back got hurt, and they're like, well, crap, who do we have left in the organization? And it was Zach Moss.
But then on top of
Yeah.
that, Deion Jackson gets cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a surprise to me.
I mean, at this point, I think I feel comfortable playing both of them. And I also think because of the running back situation, you have to. Like, think of all the players that we've lost this year. I mean, we lost Eckler to extended time. Could we replace him with Josh Kelly? Absolutely not. So then J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, and Justice Hill have kind of taken as a 50-50 timeshare, but none have done anything
Yeah.
to really improve your fantasy, like as
Yeah.
far as stats there. James Conner gets hurt. We all thought it'd be Amari DeMarcado. Now it's Keontae Ingram.
Well, and I think what we've seen from Gardner Minshew too, and his time playing is that he really likes 3 people: Michael Pittman, and then JT and Zach Moss. And
And
if
Josh
your name is
Downs.
not one of those 3, yeah, he doesn't.
I add Josh Downs into that conversation.
Yeah,
He's
well,
getting
he
the
shut
work.
up last week.
Yeah.
Let's see if
Yeah.
that's a consistent thing first.
Yeah, that game was also over until Gardner Minshew kept throwing and throwing and throwing, and I think that's the other big key. Since Gardner Minshew is not going to be running the ball, that's going to leave a lot of the checkdowns to JT and Zach Moss. But yeah, going like back to
Yeah,
my original point, I both I think are in the have to play tier of running backs right now because so many have gotten hurt and so many have been a lot worse than we thought. Like at least Swift has taken over what we thought Kenny Gainwell would be. At least I mean, at least Achan has shown that he can make the workload work with Mozart, but Mozart being as good as he has been like shocking to say the least. Nick Chubb goes down. Jerome Ford has been fine, but they also signed Kareem Hunt. And then Kyron Williams replaced Cam Akers. But what that also really screw things up is that now it goes, okay, we have a few replacements, but the issue still remains. The lack of running back depth is getting to be paramount as far as this point in the year.
Yeah. I mean, back on this, I think JT and Jameer Gibbs are going to be very similar as like kind of unsung, quiet guys who are going to elevate. Because I think Gibbs, well, this is my hope for this week. Hopefully, Gibbs shows this week that he is that dude. He gets into the end zone, gets into the end zone often, and then it opens up the eyes of frickin' Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell that this is the guy that I want toting the rock. Because yeah, Monty's a fighter, Monty's good, but he should be your second option to Gibbs. With how they both played this year, he should be their second option, not the other way around that
I
they've
mean,
had it.
we're at the point going on to Jameer Gibbs. We're at the point where we may not see Gibbs get going until after their bye week.
Why not this week?
Baltimore's run defense is actually really good, so that's going to be tough.
It hasn't been that good though. It is middle. I've
No,
looked
it's
up.
not.
I will pull up the stats.
You
I have it pulled up because I
Oh my
looked at it in
God.
preparation.
okay? All right. I will say, that's black. Like literally,
It is
that's
not.
not true at all. They haven't had a 100-yard rusher on them all season. And on top of that, Derrick Henry only had 13 yards. If it wasn't for a phantom roughing the passer call that then went into
So
75 extra yards.
they've given up 125 rushing attempts for 529 yards. They have only allowed one touchdown. And then they've allowed 26 receptions for 219 yards and a touchdown, which is why I say it's been in the middle. So they've given up a lot of yards. Maybe
it's
not
their
as much the
passing.
touchdowns, but they've given up a lot of yards rushing and receiving to running backs.
Yeah, if anything, Gibbs will get the work catching the ball. It's not
You want to
going to
know
be
the
running.
actual best run defenders: Detroit, Philly, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Cleveland have been slightly better. Seattle is a little bit better, and that's it. So there are 8 better run defenses than Baltimore. But
Still, the point stands.
well, there's actually
Like,
even
he's
more
gonna
than
catch
that,
the
but I'm just going to stop counting. There's actually like 18, but I won't
No,
count them.
Okay.
like
So
literally, there's like you'll see the stretches. Like the Ravens are, by and large, a great run defense. That's where like it hasn't shown the full story, and they're getting moved on because of like really stupid penalties. That's kind of just been the Ravens' mo this year.
Well, they haven't allowed running backs to score touchdowns. I mean, only giving up 2
yeah,
touchdowns to running backs isn't bad. But I think Jameer Gibbs, there's an opportunity for him to have a good day when he's the guy. Because we saw last week from Craig Reynolds when Monty got hurt that he was definitely not the guy. Like, I mean, not that
yeah,
Craig Reynolds is a bad running back, and I
He
do
will
like
get
Craig
work
Reynolds,
though. He
but he's not the guy.
100% will get work.
Yes, he will get work, but I think this is Gibbs's prove it week, and he's got to have it this week if he wants more touches going forwards. Because I think he has this
yeah.
week and next week.
Okay, on this question, if he doesn't get anything going by the bye week, is that when the panic alarm starts?
Yes, because right
Yeah,
before
I'd say
my week
so.
is Raiders. So if Monty's out versus the Raiders next week and he doesn't get anything going, that might be panic. Or it could be signals of going in the bye week. All right, he's gonna keep getting more comfortable. We want to get him more snaps,
Yeah,
Yeah,
a higher snap percentage.
my only hope for optimism right now is that Sun God took forever to get going, and to
Yeah.
where he was a playoff hero in his first year, but it's because that's just how he just got going that by that
Yeah.
point. I'm hoping Jameer Gibbs is the same way. I mean, Jameson Williams didn't have that, but largely because he had the ACL injury to start and then got the suspension earlier this year. Uh, so
Because the
with
only bad snap percentage he had was against Green Bay, and that was matchup based, where
yeah,
they won. Monty to run it 32 times or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, 300 right after
Other than that,
injury.
he's been ramping up.
Yeah, 48, 60, 37 that gets hurt.
27, 48, 60, 37. Yeah, it gets hurt.
I
And
mean,
now,
I personally, I don't even care about points anymore when it comes to Jahmyr Gibbs. I need to see 70 plus as far as snap percentage. If I don't see a 70% snap percentage by the bye week, you have to ring the panic alarm.
yeah, so he'll probably be somewhere around 60 against Baltimore. And as long as he doesn't get injured, I think it's that Raiders game that you have to have circled of like, all right, what does Gibbs do here? And is Monty back?
Yeah, so we're all in agreement. The Raiders game is that's the line right there.
Yeah, that's the one you have circled if you're a Gibbs owner.
Yep.
All right, I'm cool with that.
But
All
dream
right.
lineups. You have
It
to run
is
through
on
them.
to dream lineups. Week 7.
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting. Who wants to start first?
Ryan?
Yeah, sure. I'll go. My QB is Pat Mahomes versus the Chargers.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's going to work his Mahomes magic against a very Swiss cheese like Chargers defense.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Curious to see how much
Yeah.
Mecole Hardman gets introduced into this game.
yeah, I mean, he should get everybody involved. Really, like
Yeah.
I know, Tony hasn't had great weeks. Sky Moore, so
Your press one's probably been Rashee Rice, to be honest with you.
and for real, yeah. And Rashee Rice looks like the wide receiver out there that's going to be getting a lot of looks. I mean, he's kind of emerged this year. So yeah. So
All
that's my QB.
Then I'll go next. My QB
Yeah.
is Josh Allen versus New England. I mean, Josh Allen is kind of.
That's I don't know. They
It
New
used to be
England,
to say into Bill, but
yeah,
that's what we're in.
yeah. I mean, New England hasn't really looked like themselves the last couple of weeks on either side of the ball. So
Give me
yeah, could be a
Jalen.
good pick.
Give you who?
Give me Jalen Hurts into Miami.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
give me a shootout.
I like that.
That's
I
gonna
like
be a
it.
good one. Ethan, let's take it back to you. Who you got at running back?
My running back one is gonna be one Austin Eckler.
Yeah,
He
interesting.
All right,
Oh man, I
good
gotta
old
pull.
Eccles.
Oh, sorry.
How did we
Uh,
do last week?
Not good.
He was
Yeah,
kind of meh last week. He put up 13 against Dallas. I mean, in terms of like efficiency, his numbers were good. Um, not rushing, but it was like receiving work that he was.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, 6 targets you like to see, but 14 for 27 is a yikes. But 68% snap percentage, that's solid.
Yeah, that's what you want, and it's Eckler, so I
Yeah,
think he's gonna bring it back against KC.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So, Ryan, let's go back to you. Oh no, actually,
yeah,
yeah, let's go back to you.
yep, yeah. So I have as my RB1 Kenneth Walker versus Arizona.
A
I think
walk.
he's gonna run all over him.
No, that's a really good
Interesting.
pick.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I was torn between him and Eckler.
I have Kenneth Walker also, but he's because I was way lower on him going into the year. I'll use my flex privileges there. My first running back is going to be. I'm going to believe he's going to be okay, but I'm really scared. But it's CMC.
yeah. I was gonna ask you if you're
Oh,
I'm
concerned
scared.
about
I think
Monday.
it's.
willing to risk the 0 for it.
Look,
Yeah. All right.
I might change this answer. Oh no, I can't.
Nope, nope, you
But
can't.
No, you
All
can't.
right,
You already
yeah,
said it.
give
I
me
want
Swift
to.
or give me Death, and I'm not talking Taylor. RB2.
Both of y'all have both you and Ryan
Yeah.
have Swift as your RB2.
I mean, he's just been consistent, and I'm a deep lover of guys I can rely on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like those
I
options
agree.
for you.
He's been pretty dependent this year, or
Yeah,
dependable.
my running
He's been
back two.
dependent on what, Ryan?
My running back two. I'm going with Isaiah Pacheco again. It
It's my
seems like
flex.
nice. He's just been we're gonna use him in case we need to get something going.
And I love a guy that runs angry.
Yes,
That is
he's
how I've been described as
he
running.
is 100% the angriest runner.
So
Like,
I'm all
Yeah.
about. Listen, it's an art form of running angry.
it really is an art form. I could not agree with you more. All right, let's go on to wide receivers. You want to start this off?
Yeah, I'm taking Diggs against the Patriots.
Ooh.
Another guy that's just been very, very steady. And also, take advantage of the matchup. I trusted Josh on last week and wasn't my favorite against the Giants, but I'm hopeful for Diggs.
Yeah, Ryan, who you got?
All right. I have AJ Brown versus Miami. Again, cashing in
That
on,
game's gonna be so much fun.
yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it, but
Yeah,
cashing in on what might be a shootout. So
yeah. Get Ooh, I'm debating where I want to change it. I'll give you. All right, I'll give you an option. Should I change my pick or should I keep it?
Keep it.
which one?
My
Keep
wide
it.
receiver one.
Oh, keep it.
Okay, then I am keeping it. Going with Cooper Kupp versus Pittsburgh. Man's been
Hey,
rolling since he
that
got
is my
back.
wide receiver too, baby.
All right.
Wait, we're counting Cooper Kupp as wide receiver too?
We are.
Yeah, for real.
We have not done a
Wait,
realignment.
wait a minute. No.
We have
No.
not done
He
a
is
realignment.
not in your.
He
He's
is
not
he is my
wide receiver.
he's a
He was
he
tier
was a
one
wide
for
receiver
me.
one for me.
He was not for
He's
me
he
because he's
was.
injured.
He was injured for the
It's all about the loopholes.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
okay. We are readjusting this. What on earth?
We're doing that. We're doing that.
That's
Yeah,
this
next
week.
week. Yeah,
Oh my
next week
God.
we're doing that. No, we are not letting that slide.
Jeez.
Uh,
Cup. In the words of Alex's team in my league, my cup runneth over.
Oh my God. Okay. So that was your Josh, your wide receiver one, Ethan's wide receiver two.
yes,
So Josh,
Ryan.
who is
He
your
can
wide
hit.
receiver?
My wide
Who's your
receiver
wide receiver
two.
two?
I'm going for broke here. Give me. I'm gonna actually switch what I have on there. Give me
Oh my
George
God.
Pickens
Yes.
going against the
All right.
Rams.
Dude, I love Pickens.
George Pickens.
Pickens is one of the guys I would love to get on my team.
Yeah.
I
Although he's been kind of
He's
up
been
and down
super
this
up
year.
and down. That's
Yeah.
been my fear as far as starting
He's
him.
been Yeah, and I've made mistakes in starting him. I started him on one of his down weeks, and then I think the week after he scored like 25 points,
Yeah,
and I
I've
was
started
like,
him on every single
you're
down week.
sitting on my bench.
It's been wonderful.
So,
Dude, there's some
yeah,
of these guys where you just have to ride them.
Yeah,
yeah,
Gibbs. All
yeah.
right, so we've already said everyone's wide receiver two. Let's go to tight ends. Ethan.
No, I haven't said my wide receiver
Oh,
two.
you're right. Yes, I am
Okay,
completely wrong. My bad.
mine is Brandon Ayuk
Great
versus Minnesota.
pick. Great
Yep.
pick.
He had a
I
down
think
week
he's
last.
gonna get. Yeah, he
Down
had a
week, but
down week. I
Cleveland's
think
defense is
he's gonna
insanely
bounce
good.
back. Yeah.
All right, now we're on the tight end. So Ethan, let's start with your tight end.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch Kelsey.
Ryan.
I'm trying to catch Kelsey too.
So am I. We are all on the Travis Kelsey train.
Ryan, what state were you born in? It was
Why
California.
is it, why would I say that on a podcast?
Because
Ethan?
well, it doesn't matter. we can represent said state while we try and catch Kelsey.
I don't want to represent
Okay,
California.
He does not.
Trying to make an inside joke, but you can
Alrighty, onto your
God.
flexes, gentlemen. I have no idea where we just went 30 seconds ago, but let's say both of them right here. So
Okay.
let's start with you.
I already said my first one, which was Pacheco. My other flex is Pittman.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
Last week, based off
my
of
two
that we can't say on the podcast. We're
my
not.
my two flexes is also Pacheco and Raheem Mostert.
Yeah,
I
thank
know
goodness
it's a
that's a
against
cheat.
against Philly against Philly.
He's
It's
gonna
it's
ride it
kind of
until he.
rough,
Yeah.
but I'm
At this
I'm
point, it's been
I'm
so
riding
good
this
that
horse until it dies
yeah,
on me. All
yeah,
right.
ride till the wheels fall off. I have Kenneth Walker. That's my first one. My second one, I am going for broke, gentlemen. Give me Jahan Dotson versus the Giants.
Josh just can't let it die.
Yeah, I don't understand why you go to him.
So, all
He's
right,
he's hurt me
here's
so
Right.
much.
Also, you can't have Ken Walker as a flex.
yeah, he was my tier
Yeah,
two. He was a tier two. This
no,
is why we
no,
we each
no,
have we each
no,
have an issue.
no,
Ken Walker is not a
no.
tier 2 running back.
Ken
We did
Walker was
not.
How?
a tier two for me. We can look this up.
Well, he's a
He-
tier 1 for me and Ryan.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
That's
Cooper Cup's a
obscene.
tier one for me and Ryan.
All right. Well, you know what?
This is the last week we let it
All
go,
right.
right?
All right.
We
Yeah.
we
Yeah. Sure.
re-rank next week. We are re-ranking next
oh
Sure.
my
week.
God.
I think Ken Walker as a flex is more obscene than Cooper Cup as a wide receiver too.
No, no, just no.
That is
But
more
Yes, I
by a,
think it
okay,
is.
I will say
that
just
is more
really
Now
obscene
he's
by a
played.
mile, and it's not close
Kenneth
I
Walker has not played like a flex player
ever.
hey,
ever this year.
the rules are the rules, and I am just following them. I do want to say my
All right,
last point on
fine.
Jahan Dotson. At some point, it has to get going. If
Nope.
it doesn't
Yeah.
this week, it's over. Like that's how I'm taking it. So
Mhm.
this is my desperation attempt. But this is the end of the episode. Thank you again for everyone listening to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. You can find us on almost all your platforms at Last Place FP. We're doing a lot of our work on YouTube, so don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave your comments. We would love to even hear your big questions so we can discuss over some of those going on within fantasy football as well. Again, last place FP. We are signing off for week 7. Next week, you've already heard it. We are re-ranking. We're doing all the tiers all over again because this has been one crazy year. But it's also halfway through the season, so we still have a lot of season left to go. Ethan, what can the people never forget?
Never forget. Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you're right.
Yep. Have a good one, everybody, and we will see y'all next week.